Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are talking about something so exciting. We are talking about the Chantecaille Sylvie birthday anniversary sale. This is a 30% off, and yes, this includes Canadian shoppers. With the code ALLISON30, you will get 30% off your purchases. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So as many of you know, I now have an online beauty consulting service, which is where you get to talk to me one-on-one and just pick my brain about beauty concerns. This is a video chat where you get to talk to me about your current beauty routine or something you want to incorporate. The benefit of my service is I work for myself, so I will give you my advice that I think best works for you and your needs. So to make the appointment, click the link in the description box down below. All right, the Sylvie birthday anniversary sale, 30% off. For years, I have watched people shop the sale online with a little bit of jealousy, but now since Chantecaille has a Canadian site, this means that us Canadians, I'm very patriotic with my colors today, we get to partake in the 30% off, which is a lot considering like 30% off is a really big deal. So with my code ALLISON30, you get special early access to the sale. Everyone else, the general population, will actually have access 4 days later, but with the code ALLISON30 you can shop right now, right this second, before items sell out, which they will because it's 30% off, and a lot of people take advantage of the sale to stock up on essentials and backups. So if you have items that you have been waiting for, I would not hesitate, especially if you just know that you love these items. A lot of them will go out of stock, so use ALLISON30 today to take advantage. I'm going to do a full face of products. I've done full face of Chantecaille several times on my channel because it's one of my favorite brands, but for today it's going to be a very light, summery look. And I'm also going to talk about skincare because I get a lot of questions and comments about my skin. I'm currently not wearing any makeup. I have my eyebrows filled in, but I have nothing on my complexion. So I think we should start with skincare and talk about what I did off camera. All right, so what I did last night before coming on camera, and I know this might sound like a broken record because I've mentioned these products so many times, and it's because they work. I have repurchased these masks, I don't know how many times. It's been years that I've been using this. The first one here is the Hibiscus Smoothing Mask. So this is an exfoliating mask. You leave this on the skin maybe 10 minutes, and you apply a thin layer, and when you massage it onto the skin, it actually warms up a little bit, which is good. As it's warming up and you're getting into the little crevices, it's like a little Pac-Man that's just eating all the dead skin, eating the gunk and the debris and the pollution that we live in. This has hibiscus and papaya and other AHAs. This will act to just exfoliate and remove all of that gunk on your skin so gently. I know when we think of an enzymatic mask or a chemical exfoliator, people get very worried. They think it's going to be very harsh, but this type of exfoliator is much softer and less harsh than those granules, you know, those ones that you scrub. This is going to leave your skin so incredibly soft, so radiant, and so beautiful. I do this once, maybe twice a week maximum. You don't have to do it more than that, and you leave it on 3 to 10 minutes. I go for 10. I get in the shower, I let it do its thing, and make sure to bring it down onto your neck and décolleté as well, just to make sure everything looks bright. And then afterwards, I go into my Jasmine and Lily Healing Mask. This is phenomenal. It doesn't have that much of a scent. It's just, it smells a bit botanical, but it's a healing mask, and it's also incredibly hydrating and brightening. This I go in with a very thin layer. I find with a lot of Chantecaille skincare products, less is more. The products are just so packed with peptides and active ingredients, you don't have to go in too heavy-handed. So I will do this, like a thin layer everywhere, and I sleep in it. I don't wash it off, I just go to bed. The next day, I have the most bright, radiant complexion. I will often do this combination before filming, and anytime that I do, I always get a comment telling me how radiant and bright my skin is, and these are it. This is what's causing this beautiful glowing skin. Now, if I'm feeling extra, which I often am because of my nature, I will take a few drops of my Rose de Mai facial oil and I will just press it onto the skin. Even with the Jasmine Lily Healing Mask, I will just take 1 or 2 drops and just press it onto the skin just to seal in all of those beautiful active ingredients, and it's just a really beautiful, radiant, luminous finish the next day. So that was last night. On to today. I'm going to do something light and fresh for my makeup because my skin is looking so beautiful and glowy. I don't want to weigh it down with too much product. I'm actually going to go into my bronzer here. This is the Real Bronze in Sirena, and it's going to be my eyeshadow for a minute. Just taking a fluffy brush here, I am just going to place this in the crease just to add a little bit of depth and definition. You know, any makeup can be used for multiple things. Just because it's a bronzer or a blush does not mean you can't use it for multiple different uses, especially now that travel is starting to become an option. It's always good to have multi-purpose and multi-use items. Or even if you're not traveling, if you just want to have something simple, something light and fresh. That's all you really need. We're not adding tons of darkness to the eye. I want this to be light and fresh and in the one and done category. Now I'm taking one of the Mermaid eye cream shadows here, and this is the shade called SeaShell. This is a beautiful light color, and the texture is kind of like a hard mousse or soft putty. It really is in this cream family. So what I do is I just use a finger. I think there's nothing more simple than one and done and a finger instead of a brush. And I'm just going to sweep this on the lid. And then using the same brush from before, I'm just going to melt the bronzer and this cream shadow together so that we don't have a harsh line of where this eyeshadow begins and ends. Now we are almost done with the eyes, as surprising as that may be. I'm going into a liner here. So I have 2 options. I have Jasper, which is sort of like an espresso shade with a bit of gold fleck, or I have a Violet Damask, which is a beautiful purple color. I am definitely partial to color, so I'm going to go into my Violet Damask. I'm going to do a line on the top here and then also on the bottom here, but not in the waterline. I'm going to keep it light and fresh, but this will be, yeah, my eyeliner wrapped around the top and bottom. Don't go all the way in with this liner here on the bottom. Just go like a third and then blend in with a brush or a Q-tip or even a fingertip. I'm going in next with my Brow Lift Eclat. This is a beautiful cream pencil that you can use to just add a bit of lift and light as well. So I'm going into the inner corner here. And I mean, if you're using eye creams to lift and firm your eye, you might as well go in with a bit of makeup as well to give you that lift. It's very subtle, but it just lifts your whole eye and just adds a bit of brightness, and I don't know, I just think it's a nice little last step that it's not going to stand out, but when you don't do it, you notice a difference. And I'm also just going to place a little bit on the inner corner here. Now for the complexion, I'm going into my Just Skin. This is a tinted moisturizer and I have the shade Glow. I really just want to hide any redness and just unify my complexion a little bit. I don't want to hide anything or mask anything. I want this to be very light and fresh. Now I'm going into my Camouflage Stylo pen. This is a corrector that has a nice peachy undertone, so it'll cut any blue or dark circles under my eyes. Let's finish off the eyes with the Faux Longest Lash Mascara. This is a great mascara to get at 30% off because it is pricey, but it's also really good. And 30% off is pretty great. So as you can see, this purple liner here, it's not like a flashy purple. It just kind of adds depth to your look. If you're someone who likes to add a little bit of color, but without going overboard, you know, this could definitely be work office, everyday appropriate. It just adds a little bit of depth. If you have hazel eyes or green eyes, this would look lovely. Now let's go into some blush. I could add some powder beforehand, but I kind of like this light luminous look. So I'm going into the Cheek Gelée here, Vibrant, which is a really beautiful raspberry color. I'm going to go in very lightly because this is a very potent liquid blush. I tried to pan this, I think 2 years ago. Spoiler, it didn't work because there's just so much product in here. The key is to apply some color with one finger and then blend it with a separate one, just so you can control how much pigment you have here because there's just a lot. And then I'm taking what's left on my finger here and I'm just going to add some to my lips just to act as a stain. Now I'm going to go back into my bronzer very lightly just to add a little bit of color, and this will just help mix those shades together. So we used this earlier as eyeshadow, and this will just help bring the whole look together. For the lips, I'm going to finish this off with a gloss, and this shade is called Classic. It's kind of just like the perfect nude shade. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's this color here in particular that Angelina Jolie wears on red carpets. It could be a different shade. I just know it's this gloss formula here. All right, now you know that in order to complete a look, we have to use a fragrance. And I'm going to do a little concoction here that I like to do. So you know how a lot of companies have scented body oils, which are fabulous. However, I have a very extensive perfume collection already, and what I like to do is I like to go in with my Rose de Mai body oil. So there's a face oil and then a body oil specifically. Now this here does have a scent. It does smell like roses, but it's very light, it's very faint. And one of the best ways to make any fragrance, any perfume last longer is to apply it onto skin that is not dry. If you apply it on dry skin, that's fine, nothing wrong with it. But if you want to have your perfume last longer, linger the entire day, apply it on skin that is not dry. So I go into my Rose de Mai body oil because the scent is so faint, it doesn't interfere with the fragrance. So just taking a few drops here, I'm just going to rub some on here, trying to avoid the jewelry. It's very faint. It smells a little bit like roses, but nothing too intense. It won't interrupt or interfere with your fragrance. And then I go into my favorite Chantecaille scent, which is Derby Rose. And look at the box it comes in. Isn't this the most decadent, ornate thing you've ever seen? So the fragrance comes like this. And then you have your beautiful fragrance that now has some thumbprints on here accidentally, oops. And you can feel free to apply this wherever. So I'm going to focus on the areas where I applied the oil. This way, this scent will linger longer and last all day. I'm not familiar with any Chantecaille scented body oils or scented body moisturizers, so in my opinion, I think this is a great combination, and you could use this body oil with any fragrance you have at home. Derby Rose is my favorite fragrance from Chantecaille. It smells, okay, picture this, a very, very hot summer day, and you're walking through an enchanted rose garden, tons of roses everywhere, like this secret garden. You're just like passing through all these roses, and you smell a lemon tree, and then you see this refreshing glass of homemade lemonade. It's the perfect combination of lemon and roses. That's how I can describe it. And it's a lovely scent for summer. It's very zesty, it's fresh, it's not too green. It's an eau de parfum, but it's light as well. So that is today's look. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the light, fresh makeup tutorial today. I think this is very easy to do for hot months. If you just want something really quick out the door, this is perfect. Make sure to use the code ALLISON30 at checkout to get a 30% off. This is a great way to support me on my channel. I know I have a lot of Canadian viewers and just a lot of viewers all over the world. So if you would shop my code and support me, that would mean a lot to me. If you're new to my channel, I certainly hope you take the time to subscribe. I know that a lot of you who watch me are not in fact subscribed to my channel, so just go ahead, hit that little subscribe button. All right, guys, on that note, I think this is all I have for you guys for today. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.